That's right, my friends. There's more news about our friend Diddy. Things are looking pretty good for him. You know why? You know why? Because Diddy's legal saga took a major turn this week for the better when a federal judge granted his request for a speedy appeal, an expedited appeal, and an early victory in what his team hopes will be a full reversal of his conviction, and I predict it will be. U.S. Circuit Court Judge Beth Robinson approved the motion Monday, just 4 days after he was transferred to FCI Fort Dix in New Jersey to begin serving a 50-month sentence for what exactly? Violation of the Mann Act. White slavery. Come on. The move, though a procedural one, signals that his legal defense remains aggressive, on schedule, and focused, and refusing to accept the narrative that has followed him since his arrest in 2024. Mr. Combs, now inmate number 90953-054, has spent the last year fighting charges that stemmed from a lengthy federal investigation, I should say, into his private life and business dealings, while prosecutors painted him as the orchestrator of what they called a criminal enterprise, which the jury said, they said no, and acquitted him of the most severe accusations: racketeering and sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. And the conviction, my friend, that stuck was based on 2 counts, again, under the Mann Act, a century-old statute originally designed to target human trafficking, but long criticized for its vague and discriminatory history, because a lot of black men seem to be the victims of this. Now, in her order, Judge Robinson outlined an accelerated appeal schedule. Combs' brief must be submitted by December the 23rd. The government's response by February the 20th. This is expedited, all right? This is fast for Fed standards. And a final defense reply by March the 13th. If the timeline holds, oral arguments could take place as early as April. And that means within 6 months, the former hip-hop mogul and entrepreneur could know whether his sentence will be overturned or stand. His lead attorney, Alexandra Shapiro, emphasized that the appeal centers on what she calls the unjust use of the Mann Act to prosecute consensual adult relationships. I agree. Now, for Diddy's legal team, this is not just about his freedom, it's about the precedent. You see, the Mann Act, remember the Mann Act, which is enacted in 1910, has a notorious past, once used to pretty much criminalize interracial relationships and to persecute public figures for moral or political reasons. They said that Sean's case exposes how easily an outdated law can be twisted to punish personal behavior. And one legal source, apparently close to the defense, said this is about more than just Diddy. It's about whether the justice system can weaponize morality. And I think that's absolutely spot on. You see, my friends, prosecutors, however, they've stood by their approach. I mean, what are they going to do? It's all they've got. During the trial, they argued that Combs' wealth and influence allowed him to manipulate and to exploit women under the guise of consensual relationships. Manipulate? What does that mean? That's white slavery? They cited freak-off events, private drug-fueled parties as evidence of coercion, despite the lack of any testimony proving physical force. Now, the power dynamics alone were coercive. Assistant U.S. Attorney Sarah Weiss argued during the closing argument that but jurors didn't buy the broader conspiracy. No, they acquitted him of every count tied to trafficking and organized crime. It's incredible. Now, still in the Mann Act, the charges were enough to ensure prison time, which, this is going to fall. Now, the statute makes it a crime to transport anyone across state lines for the purposes of prostitution, even if both parties consent. Legal analysts have pointed out that such cases are rare and usually involve aggravating factors, not relationships between adults. Did these women know that they're being now considered to be prostitutes? The defense claims the government stretched, in essence, the law's definition to secure a conviction where their main case had failed. So, irrespective, Diddy's transfer to FCI Fort Dix marked the start of a stark new reality. I talked about this. The low-security facility located in New Hanover Township houses around 4,000 inmates, mostly non-violent offenders. The rapper's first days behind bars reportedly included a work assignment in the prison laundry, which is a routine that symbolized, again, the sharp fall, the decline, the collapse from mogul to mere inmate. Sources within the facility described him as cooperative but distant. He's freaked out, adjusting quietly to life without privilege. Now, despite the conditions, Diddy's family and inner circle remain optimistic, which is good for them. This appeal is our path forward, said one longtime friend. Another said that Sean's focused, calm, and determined. He's not broken. He's strategizing. They pointed his relatively short sentence and the possibility of early release for good behavior as buoying his ideas. Now, under the Bureau of Prisons rules, inmates can earn up to 15% off their sentence, which could see Diddy released before 2028. Okay. He's already served 14 months since his arrest, meaning the clock is ticking in his favor. Okay? Now, folks who kind of keep an eye on this, observers and the like, in both particular legal and the entertainment worlds, are somewhat divided over what his appeal could mean. Now, some see it as an opportunity to challenge, an outdated statute that has ensnared other public figures in the past. Others view it as a last-ditch effort by a once powerful celebrity to escape accountability. Diddy's legal strategy is smart. Many people believe, because if he can convince the appellate court that the Mann Act was misapplied, in essence, his conviction could be absolutely vacated entirely. But that's a rather, as some people say, a rather steep hill to climb. Now, outside the courtroom, as you know, the court of public opinion remains fiercely divided. To his supporters, well, Diddy is the victim of a politically charged prosecution designed to make an example of a black billionaire in the entertainment industry. And to his critics, he's a cautionary tale, a man whose power and ego finally collided with justice. This is the way it's phrased. Now, either way, the image of Diddy walking the prison yard at Fort Dix wearing some plain beanie with a white beard and a prison-issue jacket is now etched in the public consciousness. This, by the way, will inure to his benefit as the story is played. Now, meanwhile, the music industry has gone quiet. Former collaborators have, interestingly enough, stayed quiet. And business partners have distanced themselves from the brand once synonymous with luxury and swagger. Bad Boy Records, the empire he built, continues to operate, but its founder is now a cautionary headline. See, industry insiders whisper that some of his catalog deals and royalties could be frozen, in essence, pending the appeal's outcome. We'll see about that. And other analysts and the like, say that the speed of the appellate process is unusual and likely reflects two things: both the public attention surrounding this particular case and the court's interest in addressing the legal questions, which is good, because when a court says, I want to address this, it says, in essence, maybe we made a mistake. The Second Circuit, known for its sharp questioning and precedent-setting rulings, could use this case to once and for all clarify how the Mann Act applies in the modern era. If Combs prevails, it could limit the law's reach for similar prosecutions in the future. In any event, my friends, as for Diddy himself, well, his friends, his family, and those close to him say his daily focus is on routine, exercise, reading, and staying out of trouble. He's in a kind of a reflection mode, one says. He knows this is his final test. This is his defining test. He's been on top of the world, many say, and now he's in the system. But he truly believes that he'll walk out. He'll leave. And I think there's a very good chance that he will leave earlier than expected. And the appeals process may take months, in fact, but for the first time since his conviction, there's momentum, there's hope. Whether it leads to redemption or reaffirmation of guilt remains to be seen. One thing is certain, however. Sean Diddy Combs' story is far from over. He's reinvented himself before. From producer to mogul to cultural icon, and now, perhaps, to survivor of the system that once celebrated him. But for now, my friends, the man who once lived by the mantra, can't stop, won't stop, has no choice but to wait. His appeal is on the calendar. His fate is in the hands of a higher court. Whether he walks free or remains confined until 2028, his case has already reopened uncomfortable questions, queries, perspectives, and the like about power, justice, and the selective morality of what we call American law. Now, if Judge Robinson's accelerated schedule holds, the next chapter begins this winter, just in time for his 55th birthday. And in the shadow, my friends, in the shadow of Fort Dix in New Jersey, the music has gone quiet, but the fight, we believe, has gone on. And I'm pulling for old Diddy on this one because I think he was unfairly convicted of the Mann Act. Now, in the meantime, my friends, I ask you to do a couple of things. Patronize our two sponsors. My Patriot Supplies specifically is the go-to emergency food source. Go to preparewithlionel.com. Preparewithlionel.com. There is a link right there. Go for that. And for our good friend Mike Lindell, for the best pillows, the best blankets, the best duvets and bedspreads and bathrobes and slides and slippers, it's mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. All right, dear friends, thank you so much. Please do us a favor. Please like this video. You know how it is. The metrics mean so much. Please like this and also subscribe to our channel. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your efforts. I love to see your comments. I read them all, and they're fascinating. And again, I import you and beg you to comment as you see fit.